Well, welcome again to the Study Bible study, where we study the Bible with the Study Bible. Well, this is session 2. We just wanted to go through a couple more definitions, and then ASAP, right? We'll actually hop into a couple study Bibles, and we'll study the Bible with Study Bibles. Okay, let's look at redemption. Redemption is to be redeemed or to be made right. To be, again, a second chance. Redemption is a releasing effect through a payment, deliverance, a liberation procured by the payment of a ransom. Redemption is to be freed from your debt, from the bill being paid. Redemption is a freedom from the collector to whom you are indebted to. When it comes to redemption, a lot of people really like to use Ephesians 2, 8 and 9. It is, for by grace that you have been saved through faith, and this not of yourselves, it is a gift of God, not of works, lest any man should boast. That's Ephesians 2, 8 and 9. Let's look at salvation. Okay. Salvation is deliverance from what you deserve by and from a means to which you don't deserve and didn't and cannot earn through your own means. Salvation is our welfare and our victory over death through the actions of Christ on the cross. Salvation is the saving knowledge of Jesus Christ. He preserved and delivers us into safety. Salvation is to be delivered from the manifestations of one's enemies. The molestations of your enemies. Can't have those enemies molestating you. Okay. Salvation is an ethical sense, a security of your everlasting soul. Now Psalm 86:5 tells us, for the Lord art good and ready to forgive, and plenteous in mercy unto all them that call upon thee. Let's look at Messianic salvation. Messianic salvation is a future promise which Christians are redeemed from all earthly sin through faith, which brings the saving knowledge of Christ by the word of Christ and his shed blood. So basically anything that comes against you and your salvation, look to God. He only is unconditional and he only is infallible in this gift of promise. People can lead you to this gift of promise and people can tell you about it, but God's the only one who can actually make it happen. And having a relationship with God connects you with him, which will make it happen. Psalm 55:22 tells us, cast thy burdens upon thee, and he shall sustain thee. He shall never suffer the righteous to be moved. We're going to look at something quickly here. This is called the prudent man. A proper relationship with God does require prudency, or sensibility in another sense of the word. Okay, prudent. Prudent is to be sensible. It's to look upon with insight and give attention to, giving insight and consideration and thinking before reacting, and learning to ponder the situation beforehand and the ability to act accordingly when required. Now, maximums and proverbs, because we're going to hop into a bunch of proverbs here. Okay, maximums and proverbs, short and concise statements which are the truth, and they exhibit rules of conduct within your God-centered life. These are to be practiced and forcibly expressed in all your day-to-day managements and affairs. So being prudent is a very important part to a healthy relationship with God. So let's run through some proverbs and see if we can put a little sensibility on the table in front of us. Okay, now Proverbs 10:19. When works are many, transgression is not lacking, but he who restrains his lips are prudent. Proverbs 12:16 tells us, the vexation of a fool is known at once, but the prudent man ignores an insult. Proverbs 12:16, these are different versions. A fool's wrath is presently known, but a prudent man covereth his shame. Okay, now Proverbs, these are to be practiced and forcibly expressed in all your day-to-day managements and affairs. Proverbs 12:23, a prudent man concealeth knowledge, but the heart of a fool layeth open his folly. Proverbs 13:16, every prudent man dealeth with knowledge, but a fool layeth open his folly. Proverbs 14:8, the wisdom of the prudent man is to understand his way, but a fool's folly is deceit. Proverbs 14:18, the simple inherit folly, but the prudent are crowned with knowledge. Oftentimes the simple is to act quickly, to act rashly, to act indecisively. Proverbs 15:5, a fool despiseth the Lord. A fool despiseth the Lord's instructions, but he that regardeth reproof is prudent. So being able to take criticism is apparently a characteristic right from the Bible. Proverbs 22:3, a prudent man foreseeth evil and hideth himself. The simple pass on and are punished. Proverbs 18:15, the heart of the prudent getteth knowledge, and the ear of the wise seeketh knowledge. Proverbs 14:15, the simple believes everything, the prudent gives thoughts to his step. Now, these are to be practiced and forcibly expressed in all your day-to-day managements and affairs. Walking around being sensible is it's not something to walk in adversity against. Okay, the truth is always the truth. Everything else is just everything else. God doesn't make a good man. Good men do good works. Something without a mind cannot create something with the mind. Something void of purpose cannot create purpose. Just general statements that show you, that touch on the subject of being prudent. Prudence in your thoughts and in your deeds and in your actions and in your daily lives. Our daily lives. Okay, strength. Strength, biblically speaking. Strength comes from humility. Strength is born from trials. Strength is honed in tribulation. Strength is forged in the Word. Fear the Lord thy God, honor the Lord thy God. Put the Lord thy God first in all that you do, and he will direct your paths unto joy, virtue, and righteousness. Strength does come from the Lord. A very well-used pastoral verse would be John 3:30. It's he must increase and I must decrease. The he being Christ, the Christ within you has to increase in you yourself. Your pride, the old man as it's called, needs to decrease. So we just want to hop on to throw in a couple prayer verses here. Part of the armor of God is the prayer life. Having a very healthy prayer life will help us, get through a lot of discomfort. Perfect discomfort is when you're reading study Bibles in order to study the Bible, and it becomes very tedious. Then you pray and you say, thank you, God, for my patience that you have given me, and thank you, God, for this blessed day that you can allow me to sit here and tediously study Bibles. Okay. Ephesians 6:18 tells us, praying always with all prayer and all supplication in the Spirit. If you have an invisible man in your life, turn that invisible man into Jesus and talk to Jesus opposed to talking to yourself. There's actually somebody to talk to. Psalm 27:14, wait, I say, on the Lord, be of good courage, and he shall strengthen thy heart. Wait, I say, on the Lord. Because now prayer is our direct line to God. Psalm 62:8 tells us, trust in him at all times, ye people. Pour out your heart before him. God is a refuge for us. Selah. Selah is to stop, breathe, pause, take a moment of reflection. If you want, I guess, genuflect on your right knee, face towards a crucifixion, and genuflect. Okay, Genesis 12:18 says, and he removed from thence unto a mountain on the east of Bethel, and pitched his tent, having Bethel on the east, and there he builded an altar unto the Lord, who appeared unto him. Even in the book of Genesis, right in the beginning, communion with God was just a part of life. Lamentations 34:1, let us lift up our hearts and hands to God in heaven. Now, Psalm 5:3 says, my voice you will hear in the morning. I will direct it to you, and I will look up. Always pray. Stay in prayer to center your thought life. Always pray. Stay in prayer to acknowledge the Lord your God daily. Honor him with your prayer. Always pray. To build, to keep, to maintain, to renew. Let's not forget the word renew. And restore your relationship with the Lord our God. Stay in prayer. Always pray. Well, this is session 2. Just another information session, introductory session. And this is the Study Bible study, where we use study Bibles to study the Bible. God bless.